Pyramids is probably the single most funny card in all of Magic the Gathering. So let's talk about it. Pyramids is a poly artifact that costs 6 mana. You can pay 2 generic mana to prevent a land from being destroyed or to remove an enchantment from any land. Now you can probably tell that this card is pretty bad, and if you know old Magic well, you probably have also figured out what it is that makes this card so fucking funny. But in case you're missing the context, let me break it down for you. Pyramids was printed in Arabian Nights, which is the first expansion. If a card wasn't printed in beta, it didn't exist before Pyramids came out. At the time, land destruction the deck was pretty common, honestly. Sinkhole and Stone Rain were both common cards in ABU, and Ice Storm was an uncommon, so it wasn't that hard to assemble a land destruction style deck. At the time, most players were just playing 5 color piles of every card that they owned, so in that environment, if your deck was like mostly Sinkholes and Stone Rains with a couple of threats, you were going to win pretty much every fucking game. Especially if you were only running the 2 or 3 colors. So at the time, land destruction was actually pretty brutal, and it was good enough to be your main game plan, sort of. In a world like that, where you're just trying to pretend you're a wizard and cast your Crawl Worm, these decks are pretty fucking brutal, and pretty unfun to play against. So there you are, looking for a solution. Bam! Pyramids shows up, to give you the edge you need, to not have every land blown up, and actually cast your Crawl Worm and win like you were destined to. There is a couple of problems with this plan though. Problem 1, Sinkhole costs 2 mana and Stone Rain costs 3 mana, right? You following? And problem 2, Pyramids costs fucking 6 mana and it has an activation cost. And it's kind of hard to play out a 6-drop when every land you've played since turn 2 has gotten blown the fuck up. This is so fucking funny. Why is it 6 mana? Why did you do this to poor little Timmy that was just desperate to protect his forest so he could play his fucking Crawl Worm? It's 6 mana. Sinkhole is 2. That's so funny. And it's just the perfect card to mock you for daring to try and weasel out of getting all your lands destroyed. Imagine how frustrating it is on turn 8 watching your last land get sinkholed as you're staring at a bunch of 3 to 7 mana cards and there's Pyramids just staring back at you. Don't worry, Timmy. You just need to make it 6 more turns without them playing a sinkhole and you'll be able to play the game. Oh, I love this card so fucking much. It's so fucking funny. This is so fucking mean. I wonder how much thought Richard Garfield gave this card. Like, he made this set in a hurry, and it was mostly just, like, turning stories from 1001 Nights into cards. So I imagine he didn't really give, like, too much thought into the, like, purpose the cards would serve in the meta. I think it was, like, mostly about flavor, right? And, like, just making interesting cards without, like, being too concerned about it. But part of me wonders if he was sitting around just annoyed as hell that another dork came up to him complaining about Sinkhole and he just fucking snapped. Decided he would show them sniveling little babies the folly of their hubris by getting them to run Pyramids and just get fucking bodied. I seriously doubt that happened, but it is fun to think about. Likely he just made the card without really thinking about it since he didn't have much time. Like, the whole set was built and designed in like a month. It's really funny to think that he did it on purpose though. That's my headcanon. That's my personal truth. I guess I should also mention the errata on this card because that is also pretty funny. So now it says that you can pay 2 mana and you can choose one. Destroy target aura attached to a land, or the next time target land would be destroyed this turn, remove all damage marked on it instead. Now that is a really confusing way to word this card, which is pretty funny. It talks about removing damage, which may trip you up, but that's not really the important part that you want to focus on. The word instead is what matters the most in the way this is worded. So this is a replacement ability, and all this is saying is that if a card would be destroyed, instead of destroying it, remove all the damage on it. There doesn't actually have to be any damage on the land for this ability to trigger or resolve. Removing 0 damage instead of destroying it is, like, that's allowed. This is kind of a clever way to make the card play nice with the rules of the game, and it actually still functions pretty much as intended. It is a silly thing to read and think about, though. What do you think of pyramids? Do you think this card is hilarious? Do you think this card is rude as fuck? Do you think this card is stupid? Did you get got by this card as a kid just trying to figure out how to play Magic? I'd love to hear any stories you may have. But that's really all I have to say on Pyramids, so let's talk about the art. Pyramids was illustrated by Amy Weber, and I really like this piece. It's simple and far from Amy's best work, but it's appealing to look at. The saturation is nice, and overall it's just kind of a peaceful art without much going on, and I like seeing those once in a while. The shading in the sky is also super well done. I really like how Amy did this piece. This card only got printed once, which is a darn shame, and it is on the reserved list. So if you want to be really funny, it'll cost you more than you should pay for a card that's this bad. But it is nice to look at and a piece of history. So don't let me tell you what to do. There are less copies of this card printed than Black Lotus, though. So, you know, keep that in mind before you say no to buying a Pyramids. Really makes you think, don't it? Oh yeah, I should have mentioned this, but this is a rare, which is also kind of really funny, because usually stuff that's meant to, like, protect you or keep you in the game is at uncommon or common. Like, you see it especially with, like, color hate cards and stuff, like the removal. It's designed to it's just kind of stuff that's designed to assist players with weaker collections. But this is the opposite of that. It's a rare and it doesn't do anything, but it promises to help against the dickhead with a deck full of sinkholes, which is at common. That's really funny to me. It's a this card is fantastic. Oh yeah, and I guess for the ultra pedantic, it's technically not a rare. It's a U2. Because Arabian Nights didn't have a rare sheet. But it is classified as a rare and on the reserve list, which I think cards have to be rare to be on the reserve list. That was a rule at least at one point. I don't really follow that, so I don't know if that's wrong anymore. But yeah, argue about whether this card is a rare or not in the comments. And that's all I have to say on it. It is the funniest Magic card of all time, in my opinion. I don't know. That's all I fucking got. You can like the video if you liked it. You can subscribe if you give a shit. But either way, I hope you have a magical day. Thanks for watching.